chapter 7, Scheduled Incarnations, and there are verses therein that give you an encapsulated version of Krishna's Leelas while describing all the different avatars, the activities of avatari, that means Krishna, the source of all the avatars. A summary is given. This class was inspired by none other than Damodar Krishna Prabhu, who has what happens when the residents of Vrindavan sometimes express knowledge that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You remember that?
Yes.
I didn't forget. So this pastime directly touches on that point. Chapter 2, verse 7, text 31. Let's see. Didn't bring my glasses, so let's see if I can do this. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Nandam Shamoshati Bayad Varunasya Pashad.
Nandam Shamoshati Bayad Varunasya Pashad.
Gopan Bileshu Pahitan Maya Sununata.
Gopan Bileshu Pihitan Maya Sununata.
Ahnya Pratam Nishishayana Atisramena.
Anya Pratam Nishishayana Atishramena.
Lokam Vikuntam Upanesh Yati Gokulam Sma.
Lokam Vikuntam Upaneyati Gokulam Sma.
Nandam Chamokshati Bayad Varunasya Pasat.
Nandam Shamoshati Bayad Varunasya Pashad.
Gopan Bileshu Bihitan Maya Sununacha.
Gopan Bileshu Pihitan Maya Sununacha.
Ahnya Pratam Nishishayanam Atispramena.
Anya Pratam Nishishayana Atishramena.
Lokam Vikuntam Upaneshyati Gokulam Sma.
Lokam Vikuntam Upaneyati Gokulam Sma.
Nandam Shamokshati Bhayad Varunasya Pashad.
Nandam Shamokshati Bayad Varunasya Pashad.
Gopan Bileshu Pihitan Maya Sununacha.
Gopan Bileshu Pihitan Maya Sununacha.
Ahnya Pratam Nishishayanam Atishramena.
Anya Pratam Nishishayana Atishramena.
Lokam Vikuntam Upanesh Yati Gokulam Sma.
Lokam Vikuntam Upaneyati Gokulam Sma.
Nandam Chamokshati Bayad Varunasya Pashad.
Nandam Shamokshati Bayad Varunasya Pashad.
Gopan Bileshu Pihitan Maya Sununacha.
Gopan Bileshu Pihitan Maya Sununacha.
Anya Pitam Nishishayana Matishramena.
Anya Pratam Nishishayana Atishramena.
Lokam Vikuntam Upanesh Yati Gokulam Sma.
Lokam Vikuntam Nandam cha moksha sipayat varunasya pashat.
Nandam cha moksha sipayat varunasya pashat.
Gopam vileshu vinitam maya sunacha.
Gopam vileshu vihitam maya sunacha.
Anyapratam nishishayanam atishramena.
Anyapratam nishishayanam atishramena.
Kam vikuntam upaneshyati gokulam sma.
Lokam vikuntam upaneshyati gokulam sma.
Vaishnavis.
Nandam Shamoksha Sipayat Varunasya Pashat.
Nandam cha moksha sipayat varunasya pashat.
Gopam Vileshu Vihitam Maya Sunacha.
Gopam vileshu vihitam maya sunacha.
Anyapitam Nishishayanam Atishramena.
Anyapitam nishishayanam atishramena.
Lokam Vikuntam Upaneshyati Gokulam Sma.
Lokam vikuntam upaneshyati gokulam sma.
Nandam cha moksha sipayat varunasya pashat.
Nandam cha moksha sipayat varunasya pashat.
Gopam vileshu vihitam maya sunacha.
Gopam vileshu vihitam maya sunacha.
Ani apratam nishishayanam atishramena.
Anyapitam nishishayanam atishramena.
Lokam vikuntam upaneshyati gokulam sma.
Lokam vikuntam upaneshyati gokulam sma.
Nandam unto Nanda, the father of Krishna. Cha also. Mokshati saves. Vayat from the fear of. Varunasya of Varuna, the demigod of water. Pashat from the clutches of. Gopan, the cowherd men. Vileshu in the caves of the mountain. Hitan, place. Maya Sununa, by the son of Maya. Cha, also. Apni apritam, being very engaged during the daytime. Nishi, at night. Sayanam, lying down. Atisramena, because of hard labor. Lokam, planet. Vikuntam, the spiritual sky. Upaneshyati, the awarded. Gokulam, the highest planet. Sma, certainly. Translation. Lord Krishna saved his foster father, Nanda Maharaja, from the fear of the demigod Varuna, and released the cowherd boys from the caves of the mountain, for they were placed there by the son of Maya. Also to the inhabitants of Vrindavan, who were busy working during daytime and sleeping soundly at night because of their hard labor in the day, Lord Krishna awarded promotion to the highest planet in the spiritual sky. All of these acts are transcendental and certainly prove, without any doubt, his godhood. Purport. Nanda Maharaj, the foster father of Lord Krishna, went to take his bath in the river Yamuna in the dead of night, mistakenly thinking that the night was already over. Thus the demigod Varuna took him to the Varuna planet just to have a look at the personality of Godhead Lord Krishna, who appeared there to release his father. Actually, there was no arrest of Nanda Maharajan by Varuna because the inhabitants of Vrindavan were always engaged in thinking of Krishna, in constant meditation on the personality of Godhead in a particular form of samadhi, or trance of bhakti yoga. They had no fear of the miseries of material existence. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is confirmed that to be in association with the Supreme Personality of Godhead by full surrender and transcendental love frees one from the miseries inflicted by the laws of material nature. Here it is clearly mentioned that the inhabitants of Vrindavan were extensively busy in the hard labor of their day's work, and due to the day's hard labor, they were engaged in sound sleep at night. So, practically, they had very little time to devote it to meditation or to other paraphernalia of spiritual activities. But factually, they were engaged in the highest spiritual activities only. Everything done by them was spiritualized because everything was dovetailed in their relationship with Lord Sri Krishna. The central point of activities was Krishna, and as such, the so-called activities in the material world were saturated with spiritual potency. That is the advantage of the way of Bhakti Yoga. One should discharge one's duty on Lord Krishna's behalf, and all one's actions will be saturated with Krishna thought, the highest pattern of trance spiritual realization. Translation again. Lord Krishna saved his foster father, Nanda Maharaj, from the fear of the demigod Varuna, and released the cowherd boys from the caves of the mountain, for they were placed there by the son of Maya. Also, to the inhabitants of Vrindavan, who were busy working during daytime and sleeping soundly at night because of their hard labor in the day, Lord Krishna awarded promotion to the highest planet in the spiritual sky. All these acts are transcendental and certainly prove, without any doubt, his godhood. Om Gyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta-vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The so-called ordinary activities of the day performed by the residents of Vrindavan are at the pinnacle of spiritual samadhi, absorption in Krishna thought, although they were never practicing any kind of official meditation or yoga asanas or anything like that. They were cowherd people, taking care of cows and calves, and they had some buffaloes and goats also. Processing milk products, processing products from the milk. But everything they did was 100% pure bhakti, because everything in their life was fully dedicated to Krishna's pleasure. So this is how the Vrindavan pastimes can captivate you. There's such an infinitely beautiful simplicity about them, and yet there's unlimited sweetness. And there's an inconceivable aspect to them all. But that inconceivable aspect doesn't interfere or overpower the sweetness, at least for the residents of Vrindavan. So they're apparently working all day like ordinary people, taking care of the cows and doing their village duties. But they're 100% in samadhi because of the spiritual intensity of their always thinking of Krishna, how to satisfy Krishna, how to please Krishna. Even the most ordinary activities are fully Krishna conscious. So this is what the purport here is trying to teach us. Everything done by them was spiritualized because everything was dovetailed in their relationship with Lord Sri Krishna. The central point of activities was Krishna, and as such, the so-called activities in the material world were saturated with spiritual potency. So this shows us the best example, the topmost example of how to have Krishna present throughout the day and night. Because you have to take care of the body, you have to take care of so many evidently worldly or everyday duties. But if your whole life is Krishna focused, even those so-called ordinary activities become saturated with spiritual potency because the central focus of your life is so intensely fixed on Krishna's pleasure. So it looks like the residents of Vrindavan are just doing ordinary activities. What happens when Krishna goes to the forest? They're not with him. The cowherd boys are, the gopis aren't, and the elders, they're back in the village. And they're doing their duties, but they're always thinking, this is for Krishna, everything for Krishna. Their body, their mind, their words, everything for Krishna's pleasure. So in that way, they're in perpetual samadhi. So they're demonstrating the topmost example of Krishna saturation. We can only aspire for walking in those footsteps a little, but still we aspire. How to make our life so filled up to the brim with focus on Krishna that even ordinary activities like showering, washing clothes, they become the spillover into them from our spiritual focus makes even those activities spiritually saturated. So this is what we're learning from this verse, which merges two pastimes into one. We won't talk about the cowherd boys being rescued from the caves of the mountain after they were placed there by the son of Maya. But we're talking about the pastime of Nanda Maharaj apparently being captured by Varuna Dev, the Devata, the demigod in charge of water. And he has a watery abode. Just like there's an earthly abode, an earth planet, there's also planets where the predominating element is water or fire or air. Just because we haven't seen them or can't remember being born in those places, we think, oh, life can only be on Earth. But on these other planets, people's bodies are appropriate for the predominant atmosphere of that planet, whether water or fire or air. Just like fish in the water have a body that's tailored for living in the water. And breathing. Fish can breathe in the water. That's another definition, you might have heard me explain before, another definition of yoga. Yoga doesn't simply mean asanas or pranayama breathing. It also means a particular art or skill. So when you see birds flying in the sky, you're seeing yoga power. The birds can fly. Try flapping your arms and see how far you get. You don't have the yoga power. Similarly, the fish have the yoga power, the yoga ability of being able to breathe underwater. So you try to do that. Jump in some water and open your mouth and nose and try to get some oxygen. Can't do it. You don't know the yoga skill. So this verse is mainly about Lord Krishna saving his foster father, Nanda Maharaj, from the fear of the demigod Varuna. What's this fear? How can Nanda Maharaj be afraid of anything? He's afraid of separation from Krishna. He wasn't afraid of Varuna per se. He wasn't afraid of being taken to Varuna's abode in of itself. He was afraid, oh, I'm being taken away from Krishna. So how did this all happen? There was Ekadasi, and then there was Dwadasi. And Nanda Maharaj was following the classic Vedic system, and he wanted to finish his celebration of Dwadasi by taking a bath in the Yamuna. But Dwadasi was coming to an end very quickly. So Nanda Maharaj felt he had to hurry and take a bath in Yamuna while it was still Dwadasi, before the time for Dwadasi ended. But it also seemed, that time seemed to be too early to enter and bathe. According to strict technical rules, it was an inauspicious time of the night. The auspicious time for bathing early in the morning hadn't quite begun. So Nanda Maharaj went to the Yamuna with some cowherd men, and he entered the water. Now keep in mind that Nanda Maharaj didn't enter the water so much to clean himself, like take a bath for cleaning. He entered the Yamuna for enriching his bhakti. So while in the Yamuna, two crude and unknowledgeable servants of Varuna Dev grabbed Nanda Maharaj and took him to Varuna Dev's abode. Evidently, there's a portal. By entering into the water, if you know the art or someone takes you, you can go through that water to the watery planet of Varuna Dev. Even today in India, there are mystic yogis who can take bath in all the holy rivers at once. So there's all kinds of things going on in this universe that we're unaware of. So these two ignorant servants of Varuna, they grabbed Nanda Maharaj. They considered that he had made an offense, bathing in the Yamuna at an inauspicious, improper time. Nanda Maharaj technically was just a few minutes early in getting in the water. But these servants of Varuna were very strict, according to what they could understand. So they grabbed him, and they took him to the Loka, to the abode of Varuna Dev. And meanwhile, what was going on the bank of the Yamuna? When you read in Bhagavatam or Krishna book, it seems that instantly Krishna came and entered the water to rescue his father. But other acharyas present a lengthy time because Krishna was resting on a flower bed far away. Why does Krishna rest on a flower bed? What's he been doing at night? Can't say. So, this is why the verse says, the verse is talking about the exhaustion of the inhabitants of Braj, who were sleeping soundly at night. They were exhausted, evidently. Where is Krishna? Where is Krishna? Where did he disappear into the Yamuna? So they kind of wore themselves out on the bank of the Yamuna, trying to find Krishna. Excuse me. Yes, that's the point. After Varuna Dev, no. We'll back up a bit here. So the cowherd men, when they saw Nanda Maharaj disappear into the river, they called out, Krishna, Rama. They called out to Krishna and Balaram. Now we're talking about Krishna was a bit far away because some say he was sleeping on a flower bed. What does Krishna do on a flower bed? So, Krishna is all pervading. So even though he was far away, sleeping on a flower bed, he could be at the bank of Yamuna immediately, because he's everywhere. Krishna is not controlled by the laws of time and space. Time and space are his insignificant external energies. So immediately he came, although it could have been after a while, according to the Brijvasis, who were tiring themselves out, pacing up and down the bank of the Yamuna. What to do about Nanda Maharaj? So when Krishna came, he said, show me the spot where Nanda Maharaj entered the water, and they showed him the spot. Of course, Krishna doesn't need anyone to tell him what to do or how to do it. But this is pastime, this is Leela. Show me the spot, where is it? Where in the water did he disappear? So they showed him. So Krishna jumped in the water in that spot and went to the Loka, the watery abode of Varuna Deva. So evidently, while Krishna was at the watery abode of Varuna Deva, on the shore of the Yamuna, the gopis were having heart attacks, especially Srimati Radharani, who eventually collapsed unconscious on the bank of the Yamuna. No one could revive her. Her breathing practically stopped. And then someone had a bright idea to bring her out of unconscious state. They said, Krishna's coming! Immediately, she comes out of her unconsciousness, opens her eyes wide, but she doesn't see Krishna. So that stuns her. She was pulled out of her unconscious state because someone said Krishna's coming, but where is he? So meanwhile, while the gopis headed by Srimati Radharani are in such a panicked state, Krishna is at the watery abode of Varuna Deva. It's hard for Western people to understand that behind every function of nature is a personality. It sounds so indigenous, doesn't it? So primitive. We think we are so superior, thinking that knowing that there's nothing but matter, and behind matter is just matter. Inert, dead matter. Life comes from matter. Consciousness comes from matter. But to think that behind all the functions of nature are personalities sounds so primitive. People will think, what are you, from Papua New Guinea or something? So what Bhagavatam is presenting to you, I describe in Searching for Vedic India, the universe as a hierarchy of consciousness. So human beings are more conscious than animals, but devatas, demigods, are more powerful in consciousness than human beings. And behind the functions of nature are powerful conscious entities. But Krishna in Bhagavad Gita explains, as you know, if you think that these devatas behind material nature are the all in all, you made a huge mistake. Because there is the supreme consciousness. The supreme conscious person, the supreme personality of God. So, Krishna is a little angry internally. Why have his servants taken my father? But Varunadev offers such prayers to Krishna, and Krishna can immediately understand Varunadev's motivation. Varunadev begged forgiveness for what his men had done, his servants had done. At the same time, he said, actually, it was a great benediction because they brought you here where I could see you. He said, now my life is perfect. I've had so many bodies, thousands of bodies in thousands of realms, but now in this body, I get to see you. That is my ultimate goal that I've achieved. So Varunadev begged forgiveness for his servants. He took responsibility. My servants have done this. Oh. But he said, actually, they've done me a great favor. They brought you here to me. How did they bring you here to me? He said to Krishna. Because you would come after your father, to get your father, to rescue your father out of affection. So by my servants grabbing your father, they simultaneously brought you, because you would follow to rescue your father. So here we have Nanda Maharaj, and here we have you, Krishna. So he pointed to where Nanda Maharaj was, seated on a throne of jewels. Please take your father. Evidently, there were other devatas there also. So Krishna accepted the prayers and treatment by Varunadev. And yes, actually, Krishna knew the whole event was orchestrated so that Varunadev could see him. Krishna accepted that. You might say, why couldn't Varunadev see Krishna in Vrindavan? That's not his place. He couldn't worship Krishna in Vrindavan amidst the Brajvasis. So it doesn't work like that. So therefore, this situation was utilized in which Nanda Maharaj was grabbed, brought to the Loka, the planet of Varunadev, and then Krishna followed to rescue his father. Also, Varunadev was conscious of someone who had done something similar like him, an apparent offense, a real offense that was much more serious. Who did that? Indra and Govardhan Hill. Indra sought to destroy Braj with inundation of rain and wind. For how many days? A whole week. So Indra was really offensive. And he came to Govardhan, to Govindakund at the base of Govardhan. After the whole pastime was over, he came to beg forgiveness. He wanted to bring Brahma with him. But Brahma said, this one's on you. You go there alone. So Varunadev was different. He considered himself an offender, but actually he wasn't. He was motivated purely by the desire to see Krishna, and Krishna knew it. Still, Varunadev presented himself as an offender. I've taken your father. So what about the so-called mistake by Nanda Maharaj? Actually, in the most technical analysis, it wasn't a mistake. This Vedic ritualistic system is very complicated. So when, after all is said and done, when you look at the situation from so many ritualistic angles, he wasn't wrong. But that really isn't an important thing. The important thing is that the servants of Varuna Dev should have known Nanda Maharaj is the essence of bhakti. He's at the pinnacle of spiritual realization. Krishna's pastime father. So how can you throw the book at him, so to speak? Throw the book at him of all technical rituals. How dare you do that? Nanda Maharaj is just 100% bhakti. He's Krishna's father. So how dare these crude, ignorant servants of Varuna capture Nanda Maharaj, thinking he had made a crime, a mistake. These Vedic rituals, the systems are so complicated. You would faint if you knew all about it. But Nanda Maharaj is bhakti. So that was the problem with the servants of Varuna. Even from the viewpoint of ritualistic correctness, they were wrong, it turns out. It was a real fine point. But mostly they were wrong because why are they applying these fine points of Vedic ritualisticism to Nanda Maharaj? That's the problem. But then again, Varuna, begging forgiveness on behalf of his servant, said, in this way I got to see Krishna. So you have sympathy for him. He wanted so much to see Krishna. And he said, now my body is perfect. Now my life, after thousands of births, my life is now perfect. So Krishna takes his father back up out of the watery abode of Varuna. Because when Bhagavatam presents the universe as multi-dimensions, so in other words, example, one devotee, my godbrother, the late Sadhu Gupta, explained, if you tell someone, go to 175 Vivian Street, people can go to the ground floor, but in that same physical space are other floors stacked up that you don't see. You go to the ground floor, 175 Vivian Street. But there's another floor on top of that. And if it's a taller building, there'll be more floors on top of that. All, though, at the same address. Just like at Akarshi's flat, 23 College Street. But apartment 502, 5th floor. So it's all at that same spot, but different floors stacked up on top of one another. Similarly, different dimensions exist, inaccessible to regular human beings. They're stacked up on top of each other. So there's no point in you going to the beach and entering the water and thinking you're going to get to Varuna's kingdom. You have to know the art. You have to know the yogic skill. So Krishna brings his father out from Varuna's kingdom, and on the beach, he explains to the Brajvasis, do you know what I saw? Let me tell you. I saw the opulences of Varuna Dev. Not only did I see the opulences of Varuna Dev, but I saw Varuna Dev offering such prayers and treating my Krishna with such, my boy Krishna with such respect. Can you believe it? So Nanda Maharaj wasn't so much impressed by seeing Krishna do anything powerful. Krishna's his son. He always thinks Krishna's my son, we have to protect him. But he was impressed by by the opulence of Varuna Dev and the respect Varuna Dev and the assistants, and apparently other devatas were there too, all offering respects to Krishna. So Nanda Maharaj was discussing this with the cowherd men, the elders. I saw the inconceivable opulence of Varuna Dev. I saw Varuna and is offering prayers to my Krishna. So the cowherd men started thinking, Gargarishi said, and you told us that Gargarishi the priest said that you have a son like the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But it seems to us he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And guess what? In this village we're all related. So if your son is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he's related to all of us. So all of us are related to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Krishna was hearing all this, because suddenly all the cowherd men realized Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, just like Damodar Krishna Prabhu was asking. They all had that realization. But here is the interesting part. They said to Nanda Maharaj, since we're all related in this village, and you have the Supreme Personality of Godhead as your son, and since we're related to you, we should be able to ask the Supreme Personality of Godhead for whatever we want. You've seen the watery kingdom of Varuna. What can we ask for? So Krishna said to them, what do you want? What do you want? One cowherd man said, I want liberation. Another cowherd man said, I want Vaikuntha. So Krishna commented that Janovai Loka Etasmin, that people wander in this world. Avijja Kama Karmavi. They don't know who they are. They're driven by desire, and they perform so many activities. This verse has a double meaning. It refers to Yogamaya and to Mahamaya. People wander. His bridge basis, under the influence of Yogamaya, mix among the ordinary people of this world, but they're perfected associates of Krishna. And so they have a vidya, ignorance. They're ignorant of their actual perfect situation. They think they're ordinary people to give Krishna more pleasure. We just take care of cows. We just churn butter, yogurt into butter. That's all we do. They don't think themselves as we are spiritual bodies eternally associated with Krishna. They don't think like that. And this makes the pastime sweeter because of the simplicity. So Krishna's saying, look at this, very interesting. How people are ignorant, how they are driven by desire, and they perform so many activities. So he's talking double talk. He's talking about his eternal associates. They're ignorant of the fact that Krishna is God, generally, rare exceptions, and they're ignorant of the fact that they're not ordinary persons on the earth planet. And what is the kama in reference to them? Desire to please Krishna. And then the same verse applies to those who are puppets in the hands of illusory energy. They don't know what their destination is. They don't know who they are. Under the spell of Mahamaya, the illusory potency of the Lord, they're ignorant. And kama, they're driven by material desire, and therefore karma be. They perform so many material activities. So in this way, Krishna is speaking double. So then, What's happening with the cowherd men who now know Krishna is God, the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Doesn't that disturb their Vatsalya praying, their parental love of Krishna? Because they know, they're saying, he's God. He should give us a benediction. Give us liberation. Give us Vaikuntha. What's happening? Even though they know this, that Krishna, and at this moment, he's the Supreme Personality of God, and they know that, their praying is not disturbed in the slightest. A special situation. Unlike what happened to Vasudeva, when Devaki and Vasudeva met Krishna and Balaram after the slaying of Kamsa. Vasudeva was thinking, actually, you two are not my sons. You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So his Vatsalya praying, his parental love of Krishna, was weakened by the display of Krishna's inconceivable powers. And similarly, what's the example in Bhagavad Gita? Arjuna, after seeing the universal form in chapter 11, oh, forgive me, Krishna, I've dishonored you by being so casual with you, joking with you, reclining with you. His sakyaras, his love and friendship with Krishna is weakened, but not in the case of the cowherd men. They were able to talk that Krishna, we just realized he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but their rasa wasn't weakened. Special situation in Vrindavan. Unlike in Dwarka Lila or Hastinapur Lila with the Pandavas. So Krishna wanted to fulfill their desires. The cowherd men, they're at the pinnacle of existence, but they're acting like they have no knowledge. They're acting like ordinary people. What about liberation? What about Vaikuntha? They're thinking, Nanda Maharaj is thinking that Varuna Dev is more powerful than his little son Krishna. He's thinking that the kingdom of Varuna is more opulent than Vrindavan. This is because he's covered by Yogamaya to make Krishna's pastime sweeter. So Krishna wants to show them, you're curious? What is Brahman? What's it like to merge into Brahman? You're curious about Vaikuntha? I'll show you. So Krishna takes them to a lake, the same lake that a Kura would take them to on their way to Krishna and Balaram's way to Mathura. So Krishna takes them to the lake and submerges them in the lake, simultaneous with submerging them, immersing them in Brahman realization. Now this is a very exotic situation. How do you take the cowherd men in their Vatsalya praying, their pure parental love, and take them into Brahman? So Krishna temporarily suspended their praying. And so suddenly the cowherd men are in a neutral zone. How long could that last? Couldn't last long at all. Krishna had to bring them out because it was painful for the cowherd men. There's no love of Krishna merged in the Brahman. There's no rasa, no sweetness. Generally, on your own, you can't get out of that state. But Krishna could put them in, and Krishna could pull them out of Brahman realization. Next, Krishna wanted to show them Vaikuntha. The cowherd men saw Vaikuntha. But whether in the Brahman or in Vaikuntha, where's Gopal Krishna? Where is Krishna's cowherd form? Where is his face? They couldn't find it in Vaikuntha. Vaikuntha is Narayan. So then Krishna showed them Goloka Vrindavan. And when the cowherd men saw Goloka Vrindavan, what did they say? Oh, this is the topmost abode. It looks just like where we are. It looks like our hometown. Amazing. So this way, Krishna's having some fun. Technically, what Krishna did was show them the uppercut, the unmanifest Vrindavan. So they're in the Bhoma Vrindavan, the earthly Vrindavan. So therefore, look at that. It looks like our hometown. Amazing. So that way, Krishna ended the Leela. Because the cowherd men, they wanted, what's liberation? What's it like? What's Vaikuntha like? And what will be our destination in our next life? They're not thinking they're already at the pinnacle of existence, living in Vrindavan. Where are we going in our next life? So then, Krishna showed them Brahman, he showed them Vaikuntha, he showed them Goloka Vrindavan. And when they saw Goloka Vrindavan, they realized, that's where we're going in our next life. And it's the same as where we are now. Amazing. It looks the same. So this way, even though the cowherd men started speaking that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, their rasa was not weakened. Very special situation. All right, any questions?